has set the tone and that he has incited negative and really mean-spirited language and actions. And, you know, I said that he is like a political arsonist. He has set some fires, and then, you know, people have acted in ways that I think are deplorable, and therefore he has to be held responsible.
The scene has been the same since the primary process began. The hope by a growing number of Republicans that this is the state, Wisconsin, where the Trump train is delayed. This with the realization it will never go off the rails until Cleveland, perhaps not even then. Trump always says something bombastic. It's on his mind. It's something that is seen many times as rude and crude by many, but he keeps winning until maybe that state, Wisconsin, which lurks as a turning point for all involved and the potential firewall anti-Trumpers have been seeking. This is one of the places where we're going to begin the midweek version of the political animal, where mere mortals fear to tread, and with excellent reason that will soon become apparent. We begin with the senior contributor at the Federalist, who I doubt would have allowed anyone to grab her while seeking an interview. She would have fought back big time, and I don't blame her, D.C. McAllister. Joined by the media strategist at Cate Communications, who would never be the person to do anything so foolish. We know better, Franco Ripple. We're going to talk about all these things here. I want to thank you both for joining us. D.C., I have to begin with you with what is the late-breaking story of the day. Donald Trump suggesting that women should be punished for illegal abortions. He made the statement on MSNBC. He was asked several times about it, came out. We actually played the clip earlier in the show. Then he came out about it 2 hours later and tweeted out a statement, not blaming the women or calling for them to be punished, but saying the doctor or any other person performing this illegal act upon a woman would be held legally responsible, not the woman. The woman is a victim in this case, as is the life in her womb. A complete 180 swap. I need to get your comments.
Well, I listened to the interview with Chris Matthews, and Chris Matthews really pressed him on this point about if you're going to call it murder, are you going to have a punishment for the crime? And this just shows the inexperience that Donald Trump has with the pro-life movement. He doesn't understand what those of us who have been in the pro-life movement for years have worked through and what we understand about this issue. That this is where the women are often victimized and coerced into getting abortions. And this isn't a time to punish the women, but the abortion doctors who actually perform it. This has been the pro-life position. And Donald Trump just shows his inexperience there. He went more for the logical conclusion rather than what is actually we've worked through along this issue to deal with it, because we do value the women, we do value their lives, and we do value the babies as well, and women should not be punished.
So, Franco, then to you, he did say there has to be some form of punishment. He was talking about when abortion is illegal in this country. That was his statement and how he based this on. And then he comes out and makes his statement here. D.C. said something very interesting here. Inexperience. I don't think there's any doubt Donald Trump has inexperience in certain areas. Look, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment. A lot of candidates come in and they don't have full experience in everything they talk about. But this is an issue that has been in front of people for so long. It seems as if every time he says something like this, to the chagrin of Republicans, Franco, he's giving Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders more ammunition.
Yes, that's absolutely right. And I apologize. I've got a little bit of wind out here. This is like a remote broadcast. I'm sorry. So to add to what DC said, and she's a journalist. She understands that it's your job to press somebody. And Chris Matthews did the right thing by pressing Donald Trump on this point. It's more than just inexperience. It's the lack of discipline. And Donald Trump has displayed nothing but a chronic lack of discipline all throughout this campaign. And by that, I mean a disciplined candidate. Yes, perhaps a career politician or someone with the vaguest sense of propriety would understand, no, of course, we're not going to punish women for having an abortion in an instance where it is illegal. And talk about a classic case of putting the cart before the horse. The right to choose, the right to have an abortion is legal all throughout this country.
But wait a minute, I do just have to say this, Franco. Let's say this. He is correct in a sense, because if abortion were to be illegal in this country, if it were, then you would indeed have people breaking the law who do it. But I think it's the flip-flop that goes in here that has people going, please, make a choice.
Well, sure, and that's because also, as DC said, he's an inauthentic conservative. He is not a real conservative. He's been on every side of the issue, every side of the aisle, every political party. He said he uses politicians for expediency, for his business purposes. So, of course, he could not be authentic on the anti-choice position on this. But, you know, I also would blame pressure from anti-choice activists who try to inject themselves into an incredibly personal decision between women, their faith leader, their doctors, and their partners. It's a place where government has absolutely no place.
Let me do this. I got 60 seconds left. DC, to you, last shot here on the right. We're going to take a break, come back and talk about the left. I alluded to Wisconsin leading into this. Is it possible that with all this, and we already know some of the issues in Wisconsin as well, and the way that people feel there about Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, that maybe Wisconsin is the firewall that the quote-unquote establishment has been looking for against Donald Trump?
They are so close in Wisconsin, and it really can be that firewall for Donald Trump to get the 1237 that he needs to have the majority. So if Ted Cruz wins Wisconsin, it's going to be a contested convention, so it can make all the difference. And this issue can just push people right over the edge, not only if they disagree with Donald Trump, but also to show that he is inexperienced in handling this very important and serious issue.
Okay, 20 seconds, real quick answer from you. Marco Rubio is looking to keep his delegates on lockdown until the convention. Where do you think those delegates would go when he releases them?
They will go to Ted Cruz.
All of them. You're sure of that?
Well, as sure as I can possibly be.
Okay, no, that's fine. 10 seconds, quick answer to you, Franco. Do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely, because Ted Cruz represents the anti-Trump at this point, just like Marco Rubio did at one point.
Strategic issues that are being played. Okay, set yourselves at ease, take a breath. Franco, make sure you don't get any more wind there. Talk to Mother Nature for a minute, will you? We're going to turn left after the break with this version of the political animal, beginning with the apoplectic nature of Hollywood liberals at the moment in light of something uttered by Annie Savoy. Bonus points for those who get the reference. I hope you would. It's coming up next right here on The Hard Line.
Well, if it's Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and I think Bernie Sanders probably would think this.
I think Bernie would probably encourage people because he doesn't have any ego in this thing. But I think a lot of people are sorry. I just can't bring myself to do that.
How about you personally?
I don't know. I'm going to see what happens.
Really?
Really.
I cannot believe that as you're watching The Rock,
well, you know,
Donald
some
Trump
people feel Donald Trump will bring the revolution immediately. If he gets in, then things will really, you know.
Oh, you're saying the Leninist model of fighting the contradictions?
Yeah. Some people feel that.
Don't you think that's dangerous?
I think that what's going on now, if you think that it's pragmatic to shore up the status quo right now, then you're not in touch with the status quo. The status quo is not working.
Taking a line from the popular American motorsport, time to hit the gas and turn left on the political animal. Welcome back, veteran Democratic strategist Franco Ripple and senior contributor at the Federalist, D.C. McAllister. All right, Franco, I'm going to start with you. Susan Sarandon goes on television, mentions about Donald Trump bringing the revolution, and the Twitterverse and Hollywood, their heads explode, thinking, my God, woman, are you going for Donald Trump? She has to come back later and put an LOL on social media to say, look, she's not going to vote for Donald Trump. But what does it say when somebody like that, though, Franco, who's always been a Hillary Clinton supporter, is coming right out and saying, I don't know if I can vote for it? That's huge.
Well, I think instead of LOL, what she should have put was OMG, what did I just do? I mean, the truth is, look at what Bernie Sanders' campaign manager said about this when asked about this Susan Sarandon situation. He said, of course, I personally would vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump because, of course, everyone who is to the left of Attila the Hun in this election is going to vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump when they both become the eventual nominees of their parties. But like he also said, she has the right to support absolutely anyone that she wants. And, you know, more power to her.
D.C., this is a tempest in a teapot, maybe, because it's just a celebrity making a statement here. And quite frankly, I don't think smart people pay attention to what celebrities say in many sense when it comes to Hollywood actors. But let's put it this way. She is a very public person. She has always gone for Hillary Clinton. How then does the right take this? It's small, but use this to their advantage.
I think what she said is actually very significant and very telling of what the far left thinks. Not all Democrats are as extreme as Susan Sarandon, but she is tipping her Marxist hat there, and even she admitted it. What Marxists want is complete chaos. They want disruption. They want revolution, so that what can rise up out of that is some kind of Marxist utopia where the managerial state is in control of all the masses and being able to bring equality and peace and happiness to all. But they have to have the disruption and the violence and the revolution and the breaking of it all apart for that to happen.
I'm going to go with you on part of this.
Hold on a second.
I'm going to go with you on part of this here. I got something to inject here. I will, but go ahead, Franco. You got something too.
Listen, we already have change. We have political change in this country. They're called elections. And let me say this about Susan Sarandon. Unless Susan Sarandon votes in every presidential, congressional, state legislative, city council, dog catcher election, then she has nothing to say about revolution, because you excite a revolution by voting. So if she wants a revolution, then she needs to vote.
Okay, now I want to get back to DC, because you mentioned the word chaos and Franco used revolution here. Isn't it fair to say that right now I got to go back right here to the Republican Party. That's what we have here right now. Don't we have chaos here as well? It's raining these days.
Listen, there's a difference between, there's types of revolution, types of chaos, and
okay.
our election system is very disruptive, it's turbulent. Elections are the way to go to bring about revolution, if you want to use that term. But there's a difference between change for change's sake. There's a difference between change to bring it back to the core of our founding principles, which is what Thomas Jefferson talked about when he talked about revolution. And then there's Marxist revolution that just wants to destroy it all and bring in a new system that transforms our country. Susan Sarandon is that kind of revolution. Franco's not, Democrats aren't, most Republicans are not that way. So this is what she's talking about. She needs to be called out for her Marxist remarks and set aside as being an extremist.
It's certainly going to hurt resale of Rocky Horror Picture Show at this point, and nobody's going to watch Bull Durham anymore. But let me get to you, Franco, 30 seconds in. I mean, D.C. says what a lot of people feel, that there is a Marxist idea here with some people, and that's why they love Bernie Sanders.
Well, no, look, even if I'm certainly no Bernie Sanders supporter, but if you look at what he's proposing, it's not Marxism, it's not the nationalization of industries, it's not government taking over commerce.
A lot of people would say it's pretty close.
Well, no, I think what a lot of people would say is that this guy, much like Hillary Clinton, who's actually going to do it, is trying to give the middle class of America a fair shake. Healthcare, help their kids go to college, help them find good jobs. I don't see anything Marxist about that. DC,
I'll give you 15 seconds on a reply.
I would agree. I don't see Bernie Sanders as Marxist. He's definitely socialistic, a democratic socialist, which is also contrary to our principles as Americans. But I was talking specifically about Susan Sarandon and the cultural Marxists of the left.
I'm never going to be able to watch Annie Savoy again in Bull Durham now. It's going to change everything for me and so many other people. And Rocky Horror is right out the window at this point. Franco Ripple, DC McAllister, always a pleasure, guys. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week. Charges, arrests, lawsuits, the kind of stuff that would derail any other political campaign. Not this one. Next on The Hard Line.